Welcome to Love Will Love, a place where emotions meet stories. Here, we explore love, mystery, and the moments that change our lives forever. Every episode is a new journey. Are you ready to feel it? Don't forget to subscribe, like, and join us for the next story of Love Reborn. She thought her chance at love was over, until a 100% match on a dating app flipped her world upside down. Emma's 20s had been filled with certainty, or so she thought. She was in a long-term relationship with a man named Chris, someone she believed was the one. They lived together, planned a wedding, and built what felt like the foundation of forever. Their apartment was full of framed photos from weekend trips, a dog they had adopted, and a calendar of shared dreams, save for a house, Italy trip, engagement. But slowly, the dream unraveled. Arguments that once ended in laughter turned into silence. Promises went unkept, then unspoken. Chris grew distant, caught up in work, while Emma fought to hold them together. She suggested counseling, getaways, anything to glue their life back. But for every step forward, there were 2 steps back. Their breakup was messy, full of slammed doors and tearful reconciliations that never lasted. When it finally ended for good, Emma felt hollow. The apartment echoed with absence. She packed her things, moved into a smaller place, and tried to start over. Out of desperation, she turned to online dating. Swiping became a late-night distraction, a numbing routine. Awkward coffee dates, half-hearted conversations, endless ghosting. Nothing felt real. She deleted most of the apps, exhausted. But she couldn't quite let go of her Match.com account. It sat there like a faint heartbeat of possibility. 6 months after the final breakup, Emma was still struggling. One late night, her father called to check in. Tears spilled before she could stop them. She confessed her fear. What if I can't do this again? What if I'm just done with love? Her father's voice was steady and kind. Try again, Emma. I can't promise it'll work. But what if it does? The words stayed with her. A week later, cautiously, she logged back in. The first profile that popped up was labeled with bold letters, 100% match. The man's name was Jake. His profile wasn't flashy. No shirtless selfies, no dramatic declarations. Just candid photos hiking, smiling with his dog, sitting at a piano. His bio read, believer in second chances. Coffee addict. Music keeps me sane. Emma laughed softly. It was simple, but it felt real. Skeptical, but curious. She sent the first message. I think Match.com is trying to tell us something. To her surprise, he replied almost instantly. Guess we better not ignore fate, huh? Their first conversations flowed easily. Jake, like Emma, had just ended a long relationship. He admitted he'd nearly given up on dating apps. I was 1 click away from deleting this account, he confessed. Then your message came through. When they decided to meet in person, Emma's nerves nearly convinced her to cancel. But something inside urged her forward. They chose a coffee shop downtown. Emma arrived early, palms sweating as she clutched her latte. Then she saw him. Jake walked in wearing a navy jacket, hair slightly tousled, and that same warm smile from his photo. From the first hello, the connection was undeniable. They laughed easily, their stories weaving together as if they were catching up, rather than meeting for the first time. At one point, they discovered they had been living in the same city for 4 years. They had been to the same bars, the same bookstores, even the same street festival. And yet they had never crossed paths. Can you believe that? Jake shook his head. All this time, we were orbiting each other. Emma smiled, chest tight with something she hadn't felt in years. Maybe we just weren't ready until now. The weeks that followed were a blur of discovery. Restaurants, favorite books, long walks with Emma's dog. Emma found herself smiling more, laughing freely, rediscovering the parts of herself buried under heartbreak. But love is never without challenges. One night, Jake admitted he had been offered a job in another state. It was tempting, better pay, new opportunities, but it would mean distance. just as their story was beginning. Emma froze, fear rising. Could she survive long distance again after the pain of her last relationship? But Jake reached across the table and took her hand. I'm not asking you to decide tonight. I just need you to know I don't want to lose this. Not us. It was a turning point. She wanted to believe again. Months passed, and their bond only deepened. Emma met Jake's family, who welcomed her warmly. Jake became part of her father's Sunday dinners, where her dad would wink at her across the table, as if to say, I told you so. The relationship wasn't perfect. There were arguments, frustrations, but always something solid beneath. Nearly a decade later, Emma could hardly believe how far they had come. She and Jake had built a home full of love and laughter. 2 daughters filled their mornings with chaos and joy. 4 beloved pets filled the house with even more life. The walls were covered with photos, snapshots of travels, birthdays, and lazy Sundays. Every so often, Emma thought back to that night with her dad, the night she had almost given up. She would hear his voice again. What if it does work? And she would smile, because it had. Jake was her 100% match, not just on a screen, but in life. And together, they were proof that sometimes heartbreak is only the beginning. If this story touched you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Love has many faces. Which one will we discover next?